Welcome, IT changemakers, to the DEX Show with Tim Flower and Tom McGraw. Let's get into it.
Hello, changemakers. Welcome to Reality Bytes, show within a show within a show, where the Reality Bytes team and I, in this case, we've got Dina and Sean with us, get to talk to fascinating Nexthinkers. You know what it's all about by now. And we have got an absolutely fascinating Nexthinker today. I don't know if you've noticed, but the show is increasingly preoccupied with AI and DEX, and it does feel like just an inexhaustibly fascinating subject. We're really enjoying sinking our teeth into it, and we've got a special emphasis on it across the month of June, in fact. So keep your eye out for other episodes coming along in this vein. And we are joined very appropriately by Nexthink's director of AI, and that's Mohamed Kafsi. Mohamed, welcome to the show. Really excited to have you here, sir.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for having me. Happy as well to be here today with you.
Fantastic. And we had a couple of conversations with you at this point. Always really enjoyed them, and really looking forward to getting stuck in. But I guess a great place to begin is to hear a bit about your professional background. How have you come to be a director of AI, Mohamed? What brought you to Nexthink?
Yes, Tom. So let me start from the beginning. So I was born and raised in Tunisia, in North Africa. And after high school, I felt that I needed to discover the world. So I traveled and I studied in different countries, in Switzerland, in the US, Germany, and Finland. And along the way, I knew that I was really passionate about first learning and also about technology, as many of us and many of the listeners here today. And I was exposed throughout the way to AI, starting in 25 years ago with data and AI, where AI was a little bit narrower. I went also through different winters and summers of AI, and I've worked for different companies where basically the focus was to produce insight out of the data, to automate, to have a better understanding of the world through AI and data. And I worked for Yahoo, I worked for Nokia, I worked for Swisscom, which is a telecom operator here in Switzerland. And I always, since I've been in Switzerland, I heard a lot about Nexthink. Actually, funny enough, the first time I heard about it is through Yassine, who is also a fellow Tunisian, and who is the chief strategy officer today. And then I think we got in contact 3 or 4 years ago, and we discussed about Nexthink and opportunities at Nexthink. And this is how I joined, right? Because I knew Nexthink was a data company and also an AI company since in its inception. So I was very excited, and I saw a lot of opportunities to join and to solve interesting problem together.
I was going to say, like Nexthink, you go back more than 2 decades in your interest in AI, right?
Yeah.
By the sounds of it, regular listeners will know Nexthink founded, of course, during our CEO and founder's AI postgraduate study. Just before we move on, Mohamed, what was it about AI that attracted you to it, particularly all those years ago when it wasn't such a ubiquitous sort of topic of discussion and point of interest?
What attracted me, the fact, in addition to the fact that I was already attracted to technology, it's the fact that when AI works, it feels like magic, right? The kind of things that an AI is able to do. We see it now recently with everything around generative AI with ChatGPT, but also before. If you come back when you see like an AI, outperforming humans in games and chess, there is like a feeling of magic, right? When you see it working, right? And for me, being very curious, there was always a need and a drive to understand what's behind and how this somehow the black box is able to make sense out of data, to train and to learn from data and to perform cognitive tasks that are usually associated with humans, right? With increased complexity. This attracted me like a lot to AI and the need to understand what's behind and how we can apply it to solve like meaningful problems, right? in our field today in DEX, but also beyond that, right? For health, for education, like very central topics that are very important to humans. I believe personally, I continue believing that AI can bring us a lot to make progress in that.
That's really well put. And I've said before here that first time I used ChatGPT a year or so ago, I guess, I was struck by its magic in that moment, that first ever question and answer, because I gave it quite a complex task. I was hard on it. In a way I haven't in my whole life been struck by a technology, because I feel like all other technologies around us have been relatively incremental, hugely impressive, but relatively incremental. But AI seems to have sort of, for people who aren't already immersed in it, seems to have just sort of shot out of the blue somewhat and really can kind of blow you away. How does being a director of AI at Nexthink, what does that break down into for you today? What do you oversee here?
And just to come back to your point, and then I will answer this question if you don't mind. If very, very quickly we got used to ChatGPT, and now for us it's a given, and we're naturally less impressed as we use it, right? Because somehow our baseline is getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
But if you take someone from 3 years ago, right, and show this person like ChatGPT today, they will not believe what they see, right? I mean, the jump we had and the ability to understand the user and to answer with something that makes sense, and the ability also to almost mimic reasoning, right? Now we say it's mimicking reasoning, but this is like it's a big advance we've made in the recent year.
100%.
And your question was, sorry, about
So how does being director of AI break down at Nexthink? What do you oversee? What are your areas of ownership? What does your job look like?
Yeah. I mean, generally is really to as we said in the beginning, Nexthink is a data company, data and AI company since its inception. But if we think of all the data we gather in Nexthink, I think if you want to make sense out of this data, produce insights, I mean, AI is a key technology for that, right? And I am involved in different initiatives in Nexthink where we work with data in order to produce insights, but also to make our product easier and simpler and more enjoyable for the user interaction. Help the user have a simpler journey in our product. And we have also some other projects that are forward looking. But so how I see it today is really I'm trying to help where there is like value with AI and trying to make it happen and to work with different teams in order to integrate AI in different parts of the product. So we have the example of cloud intelligence, right? Where and this is more classic AI. That means we make sense of the data we have, we learn from all the data we have, and we provide a personalized recommendation to our users and customers, right? If we think of it as like in the consumer market, it's like Netflix looking at all movies it has and providing very personalized recommendation to you. And this is what we do with cloud intelligence, really, at a very large scale. And then there is everything which we do around generative AI. If we think of assist, really having a co-pilot in the product that's helping our users navigate the product in the simplest way, to interact with the product like in a conversational manner, right? And also generate content in the most natural way.
Yeah, I know we've got Sean and Dina with us as well, both of them itching to ask you some additional questions on this theme, Mohamed. So I'll hand the mic over to Sean for his first question.
Yes.
Hey, Mohamed, I was curious about asking you just how you think AI and DEX particularly is going to pan out in the next couple of years, and specifically, like, what's its potential as an AI-driven platform to improve employee engagement and productivity?
I think the interesting aspect around AI and how it will impact DEX in particular, but also other other industries. I think what we can do with AI is really provide a very personalized experience, right, to the end users and to the employee by making sense of the data we're collecting, right, in order to provide a very personalized and intuitive DEX experience for employee. And this is the personalization side is basically what we think of classic AI, right? As I said before, it's everything around recommendation that we provide that you can see in the consumer market. So basically offering you the right product at the right moment for you as a user. And then the second part is really about what we see today with generative AI, right? That's also today dominating the discussions. Is really to allow users and employees to interact with our product and our offering in the most natural way. It means we have the ability today in natural language to understand the user intent and also provide it with the right answer at the right moment. So those two elements together, personalized experience, but also a very natural interaction, the understanding of the user intent, are two elements that allow to have this great experience for users and employees.
Excellent. And actually, continuing with that theme, I'm going to skip a question and then come back because of what you just said. So do you have any specific examples then of AI customizing the workplace to individual needs, with its user intent? Can you maybe just sketch a common use case for us?
Yeah. So there are interesting use cases I would like to share with you today on which we're working and we are really in the exploration phase to see how we can bring value to our customers with that. It's so everything around personalized IT, right? If we think of, for example, let's take the example of hardware. If you want to recommend a computer or a laptop to an employee, right? We're not all the same. We have different needs. We have different digital needs, and I think with the scale of the data we have about laptop usage, performance with certain applications, we have the data in order to give you the best recommendation for the best hardware for an employee, right? So we're working on what we call in personalized IT in order to understand and to recommend for every employee what would be the best hardware for them to have a great user experience. So this is one example among others where we can basically, with personalized IT, give you a recommendation that suits you the best. And then there is also everything around personalized IT resolution, right? I mean, in the sense, if we understand the users and we know the users, we know that certain aspects, certain IT issues, might impact their day-to-day work much more than others, right? We are not all impacted equally by an issue, I don't know, with Outlook or an issue with a given software, right? Some are more impacted than others. And I think this fact, you can think of it, if you think of it, it's like an IT agent or that knows you well, that knows your habit, that knows what are the things you use the most. So everything around personalized, making the IT support more and more personalized to provide you with the best experience is also something where AI will play a key role.
Excellent. Thank you for those specific examples. And now, kind of conversely, this might be a bit more esoteric, but how do you think those things contribute to a person's well-being and job satisfaction?
I think, we're talking about, the more I see today, the frontier between the personal life and work life is very malleable and it's evolving a lot. But I think it's very important for us to be well in our personal life as well in our work life, right? And I think the ability to have having a great digital experience at work is one of the key aspects of coming to work happy and relaxed and not frustrated. And I think those parts of having providing a very great digital experience to employees, also providing a very personalized personalized IT, very personalized IT support, something where things are running smoothly, is definitely a key contributor to the well-being of the employee, and then at the end the well-being of a person in absolute, right? So all those aspects, I think, of personalization, also the aspect of having interaction in the most natural way in order to either make our experience more enjoyable or solve certain issues we have, will definitely contribute to our well-being.
Mohamed, so what are the emerging trends in AI that could further impact the digital employee experience going forward?
So we know now, with what we see in LLMs, like the large language model, this is already a given, right? The fact that we're interacting with ChatGPT, people, they see value in that, the ability to be able to express ourselves in the most natural way, in natural language, and get answers. This is today already there, and we see it more and more integrated in different parts of the product we use, either in personal life or the work life. And I think what's most exciting for me, what's coming next, is something that's basically building on top of large language models, ability to reason, right? And this is what they call agents, right? It means agents, simply think of it as it's a virtual agent that is using a large language model as a reasoning engine, right? It means an agent is able to take an input, like an issue, and then reason, come up with a plan in order to solve this issue. The plan is basically is a set of steps, and every step is using potentially a tool. A tool can be a web search, it can be like Nexthink as a product, it can be an API, a public API, and then come up with a plan in order to solve this issue. And here it's exciting because first it's not an easy problem, right? It's a problem when we ask the agent to be able to reason and to iterate until solving a problem. And then it's exciting because it's a promise for us to automate more and more tasks we don't want to do. And if we think of this ability of agents now of reasoning in order to solve a problem, reasoning and iterating, right? And then after that comes a step where we have, let's say, an ecosystem of agents, right? Let's imagine an agent is an expert on Nexthink. Think of it as a power user of Nexthink, right? And you have another agent that is a power user of an ITSM system. And then a third agent that is an expert, in hardware. And how now can we have the technology in order for them to collaborate to solve a given problem, right? And here, it's a very active research field where the research community in this industry is also pushing a lot. But I think it's quite exciting, and I think it will have a big impact also on the DEX industry, right? Because as an example I just gave before, if you are able to build an agent that's the best in Nexthink, it will be, and the agent that is the best IT support agent, they will be able to interact to solve issues in a really autonomous manner. So we're not there yet, but it's quite exciting, and I think it's something we should continue investing in.
Super exciting. It's as if you're building subject matter experts of all of the amazing topics dynamically, letting them speak in one ecosystem at the end of the day, right? Instead of going to multiple channels to get answers, or like you mentioned earlier, like the reasoning mindset of adapting and advancing. And I think one of the most interesting and exciting ones that are coming up is also the fact that they keep on learning. So you don't have to reteach them every time the contextual reasoning. This gives a more advanced experience. So with a lot of speculation and even anxiety for some people about the potential impact of AI on their careers, whether it's in IT or other industries. Is this credible in your view? And what do you think is the secret to effective AI and human employee collaboration?
Yeah, I mean, this is a question that's what I personally got a lot, and also a question that's very valid, right? About I think it's beyond AI, right? It's also about technologies. When we have a new technologies, it's always perceived as potentially a threat for certain jobs. Me, how I see it personally, and it's my optimistic view of the world, I don't see AI as automating jobs. I see it as really automating tasks, okay? And tasks that we would be happy not to do in order for us to focus on something where we're more fulfilled and happier, right? So me, I see that as really more an opportunity rather than a threat. And it means if we have the opportunity of AI automating our tasks, like either my task or yours or me, I mean, I'm a big fan and biased of using like ChatGPT to automate many tasks I do, right? So let's keep it here, but like to write emails, I don't, and then to iterate, to brainstorm, those are the kind of tasks I'm happy to automate to AI, so I can focus on something that I enjoy more. So I see it really as an opportunity and not a threat, and I see it as a way to augment us, really, not to replace us as humans. I discussed before our efforts and the research efforts we're doing in Nexthink AI in order to explore how we can improve and automate certain parts of IT support. How I see it is that for me, I see it as a way of augmenting, like for example, IT support agents, right? Providing the right information at the right moment to solve an IT issue is definitely something that allows to augment and not necessarily to replace.
Totally agree. It's complementary to what we do, and I think it's not going to dehumanize us in any kind of manner. On the contrary, it will give us more time to be humans, right?
Yeah,
and I think that's the key point, that when we're teaching people more and more about integrating AI in their day-to-day life, we need to keep on like bringing it back. They're not going to be humans. They are just complementing, like you just said, exactly, taking the mundane tasks so we can do the more fun stuff.
Yeah, and as life. You said, I think you have also a very valid point that I didn't mention. I think we have to see it as an opportunity, and also for us to say, look, this is a new technology. It's a tool I could use to automate certain tasks. So I should focus, learn it, see how I should use it in my day-to-day, independently of the job I'm doing, and then be able to focus on certain parts I enjoy best. So I think education and not fearing the tool itself, but learning about how to use it is a very important point.
Completely agree. What excites you the most about the Nexthink AI roadmap in the coming years?
So, as I said, I think what excites me the more is really to explore how we can use new technology, and so large language models, but also agents, in order to offer the best co-pilot for IT support. It means building, it's like today, if we think of IT support, most of the job is really about understanding, okay, what's the issue, right? So discussing with the user, it means discussing with the employee who has the issue, but also checking different parts. Either it can be Nexthink, but it can be other products, and then in order to have a clear understanding of the problem, and once this is done, then acting on the problem, right? Can we have, let's say, IT support copilot that is able to do this job for the IT agent and automating the resolution? Because once an IT agent have seen a problem 1 or 2 times, they know. I mean, when they see it the third time, it's really, repetitive. They have to do it again and again. So can we have a copilot that's able first to understand the problem and to present it to the IT agent, and then allow the IT agent to automate once it's like the resolution is clear, right? And can this IT virtual agent, right, take care, for example, of the interaction with the user to clarify the problem, right? Perhaps it can be once a user have an issue, usually like the issue description is very short. So can we automate this part where we have like a virtual agent triggering the discussion with the user, through Teams, through Slack or any other chat, to clarify the problem, to get more and more information, enough information, then to bring it to the IT support agent, but also take care of using automatically other APIs. It means say, look, the user is complaining about the device being very slow. Let me go and query the API of Nexthink to get the right information about this device, integrate that in the issue description, and then provide this, right? And once we have that, can we also automate the resolution? And here the challenge, as I said, from the technology perspective, it comes back to the ability of the virtual agent to plan. It means understand the problem, plan a resolution, and then execute it, right? And this I find quite exciting. And I think Nexthink, we are in a very good position because we know the business and we have the data. So we need to build the technology that is basically taking advantage of our business knowledge, but also all the capabilities and the data we bring with Nexthink in order to provide the best copilot for the IT support.
Absolutely fascinating discussion, Mohamed. We do have a last question for you. It's our sort of traditional Reality Bytes corny question, but just wanted to say you speak very, very engagingly about AI. It was a great discussion. I'm disappointed that Megan couldn't be with us today because I know she's currently knee-deep in researching the history of AI, and I think we'd have a lot of questions. She might end up kind of listening to this and following up with you, I expect. And I was surprised to hear, Dina, that you are an AI optimist at this point. I still think of you as like the Terminator 2 tech dystopian on the panel, but I obviously just get muddled up between your love of sci-fi dystopia. And,
so it's the mix of both, right? I love my human side, and still I love my tech side. So I need to balance it out between
Depends
both.
who you're talking to, maybe, Dina.
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna still be kind to all of the AIs out there. I still know they need to grow up and mature a little bit more, but I'm not moving away from using them every day in everything that we're doing, more or less. However, I'm urging humans. So it's 2 messaging, one for the humans and one for the AI.
That's
humans
right.
To be more humans, AIs to just keep on learning.
Dina is as polite and tries to set a good example to AI. She tries to influence it. She thinks we should all be influencing it to be as benign as possible, which sounds sensible. And just for listeners, if you missed our discussion with Pedro, I think 2 episodes ago now, he talks about the origins of Nexthink and AI research and some of the sort of larger technical questions overhanging the future of AI and DEX. Really, really worth a listen. We had Bill Shanginger last week, absolutely fascinating discussion where he touched upon the kind of dynamic between AI and employee experience and what the implications of AI in the workplace might be over the next few years. And we have some fantastic episodes along this theme still to come. And I should say, look, if you want a really, really deep dive or an intensely invigorating download, you should be thinking about coming to Experience, be it in Boston or London or both towards the end of the year. We will have links in the show notes so that you can book your ticket right away for that. Just remains for me to ask you that corny question, Mohamed, before we let you go, which is, what do you most like about being a Nexthinker?
This is an easy question. I was expecting something very nasty, but
nothing.
it's an easy one.
Right.
I mean, you already touched on the technology and Nexthink being a data company, and I would not add on this. I think let me talk about the human aspect, which is, I think, for me, the most important that at work. I mean, it's a great culture and atmosphere at Nexthink. It's a good balance. I mean, we have been working with different colleagues. It's a great mindset of working all of us as really one team, working together towards a common goal. Always working hard, but also having fun here in Lausanne. This is something I really liked, and I discovered when I joined Nexthink. And also the culture of being getting things done, being really impact driven, showing things rather than telling. This whole mindset of builders and building things is something I like. So a lot of fun. I mean, great colleagues, and this is something I enjoy.
Well put. And we do have that. I think we sort of product development side in particular love that sense of a kind of united purpose and solving the problems that are presented to you collectively is obviously something everybody we speak to gets a lot out of. Maybe I should include vacancies in the show notes as well, listeners. I don't know. Maybe I will. You'll have to check them, see if I did or not. Just remains for us to say absolutely fascinating discussion. Lovely to have you on the show, Mohamed. And I think your role at Nexthink is so important, so interesting. We're sure to ask you back on if you'll honor us with a repeat visit in the future, sir.
I would love to come back. Please invite me. I have a lot of things to say.
Splendid. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
To make sure that you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast player. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a rating of the show. Just tap the number of stars you think the podcast deserves. If you'd like to learn more about how Nexthink can help you improve your digital employee experience, head over to nexthink.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.